What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 43 of the Geekcast. I am Bobby, the Geek Guru, joined by the full cast, minus Holly. I don't know where she is right now. She's probably hungover like Alan typically is. But I got Alan from Scotland. What's up, Alan?
I'm not hungover.
Okay. There's a shocker. Toby, what's up, Toby? How are you?
Hey, I'm good, thanks.
And then we do have someone filling in for Holly, I guess, of sorts. We have this guy, I don't know if anybody knows who he is. He did this little thing called The Final Bosman for a long time on this little YouTube channel called Game Trailers. Kyle Bosman, what is up, sir?
Hi, everybody. I'm good to be filling in. I like that role.
Takes the pressure off, right? You just
absolutely,
yeah. For those watching the video portion, you'll see like a guy laying down in a chair, face planting or whatever. That's essentially Kyle right now. He had a late night. He's not on the best of things, so he kind of like told us beforehand, like, this is what you got, this is what you're getting, and we're fine with that. That's no problem. We wish Alan would do that every week, but apparently
Kyle was doing a Tetris stream.
Oh, did you watch the Tetris stream?
I do watch them, but only when they're on YouTube.
Okay, it was bad last night. I was feeling sick, and you shouldn't stream when you're sick, is what I learned. I was unable to Tetris, and that's a shame.
How can you be unable to Tetris? Like,
it takes a lot of concentration.
That's true. When you get up there and the things are flying down, yeah, I guess that's true.
It's surprisingly mesmerizing to watch.
I tried a new coffee yesterday that was like some hyper coffee that was like brewed in a Victorian England bubble of glass and with like little tubes, and it just ruined me. It wrecked me. It made me so sick the rest of the day. Couldn't play Tetris. I don't understand what happened.
Your first mistake is nothing good comes out of England, and you got to understand that. And once you get that comprehension, you'll know not to mess with that stuff anymore. Like, there was a reason, Kyle, why we left in 1776. You got to understand that and just stay away from that stuff. These guys, they're bad.
Objection. I'm from England,
yes.
So
I go back to quote myself? Like I did a couple seconds.
I don't know about anyone else, but because we can't see Kyle, am I the only one that still imagines him with a blazer and a necktie? Or am I, regardless of how sick he is, he's just sat there?
That's definitely for the best, then. Please, everyone, imagine I'm looking good. I'm wearing my blazer and necktie. Absolutely.
He took the desk with him when they left.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna kick this episode off like we do every episode with our Geek Outs. Toby, I'll throw it at you. Besides Kyle Bosman being on the show, what are you geeking out about?
I'm geeking out about a few things, namely the Battlefield 1 trailer and the Pokemon Sun and Moon trailer that we got the other day. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I'm quite excited about them is because I'm not normally into those games, especially Battlefield. Like, I've never actually played a Battlefield game before. The last sort of shooter like that I played was Medal of Honor on PlayStation 1, actually PlayStation 2 because I played Frontline. But I'm sort of more into the World War II era, and since this is World War I, it's kind of piqued my interest a bit more than the modern Call of Duties and Battlefields. So I think the new trailer is pretty exciting, and I'm kind of like interested in how grounded in reality it's going to be, or you know, how they might sort of twist it to have like their own unique flair to it that's not necessarily realistic. I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but I'm interested in that. And Pokemon, I haven't played a Pokemon. I played Pokemon Yellow when it first came out. Loved that. Then the next Pokemon game I played was Pokemon Black. So there's quite a generational leap between the Pokemon games for me, so it's not like every year I play it, so it still feels fresh to me. Whereas I know a lot of people feel that fatigue of, oh, it's only an incremental like change. So this is going to be more of a step up for me than it is for most people.
The only Pokemon game I ever played personally was X and Y, and I'm actually interested in this one, and I feel like I'm going to go back again and try it. Like, which is strange for someone to jump into Pokemon so late in the thing. But the only reason I did was because Nintendo and everybody was basically saying, like, if you're going to get in and you haven't ever played one before, this is probably the one to get into, because they're kind of going back to the roots a little bit, and it's going to be a little bit easier to understand. So I did do that. I enjoyed my time with it. I didn't beat it. I didn't go very far. I probably got about 20 hours in, which is a decent amount of time. It's not huge. I really don't even know how long those games are. But this one has my interest again. I like the art style. I think it's cool.
It is cool, and the battles remind me of Pokemon Stadium from the Nintendo 64. Like, they've got that visual style where you can actually see the animations, like the attacks going from one Pokemon to the other one, rather than they just move a little bit and then the other one goes, ugh.
Yeah, like a typical RPG.
Yeah, exactly.
Alan, what are you geeking out about?
I'm geeking about a trailer as well. It's the Assassin's Creed movie trailer. I hate the games, but I kind of like the look of this. Apart from the music, I thought the choice of music in the trailer was terrible, but overall, visually, it looks pretty unique, kind of taking a spin on what came before it. Kind of digging their take on the Animus being this kind of quite brutal-looking device. And kind of going into this summer, looking at the future of the kind of films and all that, I think it's time that we start getting some decent video game movies and maybe starts having something different to look forward to than just Marvel and, well, okay, say DC. You've got coming.
Shut your face.
We all hated Batman v Superman. Come on.
No, we all didn't.
I haven't seen it.
Crazy fanboys that loved it.
Oh, stop it.
I am excited to see it, though, because I'm a big fan of Michael Fassbender, so I think that he could be pretty decent in the role. But I'm kind of like, I'm not sure at the end of the trailer you see him jumping off like he does, like when they do the eagle dive into the hay bow. So I'm not sure if he actually does land in a hay bow in the movie, because obviously that's not realistic. But are they gonna have something like more soft for him to land in, or is it gonna be, oh, it's just hay and he's just gonna survive because movies?
Well, who knows?
I was shocked by how much of the story is like sticking to the premise of the video game.
Yeah.
So was I.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Any kind of anime stuff in the trailer or anything.
They've definitely paid attention to the way, like, the people move, like when they're jumping and where they're sneaking around. You can definitely see that in the trailer that they've been quite faithful to the games.
Some of that
but
too.
They take it in their own way, which I like.
Yeah, but some of that too, you gotta give to Fassbender, because he's like an insane actor who is going to take the role serious, and you can see that already, that he's taking the role serious immediately. I just hope that the rest of the tone stays serious. For me personally, I want to see video game movies start to become prevalent, and not stuff like Pixels and that nonsense. Like, I want good movies that I feel like, that, like the comic book stuff.
I think that Wreck-It Ralph was kind of a step towards the animated video game movie, because obviously that's very... They have actually some game characters in it, but if they take that to the next level, I think, wasn't it rumored that Mario might be in the next one?
It's possible. They had Bowser in it, so...
Yeah, so if they can actually have an animated movie that's for Mario, that might be quite interesting.
Yeah. Kyle, what are you geeking out about?
I'm sorry we got to talk about Pokemon some more, but absolutely, absolutely Pokemon Sun and Moon. What's crazy is I'm a huge fan. I play every single one. I think it was a horrible trailer, actually. Just in terms of the way the trailer's designed and how excited a person could be from it. But as a fan, I'm tremendously excited.
See, now that's interesting. If you take the two aspects, like if you take you, who has played all the iterations and is excited for it, and Nintendo knows that they can throw anything at you, and you're going to be excited for it because it's like I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I'm going to be, same thing with me with Zelda or whatever. Like, throw anything at me, and I'm going to be like, oh, that's the greatest thing ever. Like, they have those type of fans. But then you look at someone like Toby that has left the series from time to time and popped back in and out, and he got excited for it. So that's kind of good. Like, it's good.
Surprising me, yeah.
Yeah, it's good if they can get that type of fan or that type of person, hopefully, and they get more like that, because ultimately then that just means bigger success for them.
Yeah, I would say that the trailer didn't show many exciting different things. There was a little bit of walking around, a little bit of showing the new starter Pokemon. You didn't really see much other than that, but just being able to see the way the battles have evolved over time, like how they've changed from when I played Black and White to this one, it feels like quite a big step. And I did like the little Rowlet, the little owl Pokemon. Like he was my favorite. He was kind of like a big star of that trailer, even though it wasn't a massive celebration of what the new game is. It just felt interesting to see the new starter Pokemon.
So my question is this then, Kyle, is if there's a lot of hate right now for the starters, are you of that mindset, like you're not happy with the starters, or are you okay with the starters?
I love them. I love the starters.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm of this weird perspective of if someone says there's only one good one and the other two suck, that's fine. If there's one that you like, that means they're doing their job. They want to they want only one for everybody. You only get to pick one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because ultimately, you only pick one out of the three. So what's the big deal? Like, as long as you like one, who cares about the other two? You're not going to pick them anyway. So,
you know what? It shocked me how quickly after that trailer aired, the community sort of jumped on the chance to make fan art for those starter Pokemon. Like within minutes, you were seeing like drawings and animations and people making
plushies.
Yeah, people making plushies and custom amiibo of these things. I'm like, oh my god! Like how quickly this community latched onto these characters.
It's huge. Myself, I'm not geeking out about Pokemon, but Supergirl. I was excited to hear that CW is now going to pick up Supergirl. I feel like it's already been shown that these DC television shows aren't going to work on the big, like NBC or CBS. I feel like they expect the ratings to explode day one, and when they don't, they kind of take their attention off of them. So I'm glad to see it come back to CW. The only thing I'm hoping now is that we can get the cross promotion between all the shows on that show, because it would be awesome to see like Oliver Queen end up in, Supergirl, and then vice versa. So I'm hoping, but like Alan said, now we need to get Constantine back, and that would be that would be awesome. So let's kick into what we are playing. Kyle, I'm going to go to you first. What are you playing?
I'm playing Uncharted 4 right now, so I don't want to talk. I know I don't want to do any spoilers for anyone else, but I'm about 2/3 through it.
Are you enjoying it?
Yes, so much. So much. It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous. It's
shocker,
ridiculous.
right? It's a shocker, right? Like I think everybody knew that this was going to be. I haven't even touched it yet. I still got to beat 3, so I'm actually going to do that this weekend. Beat 3 and then move on to 4. But
I just hope the weird desert scene in 3 doesn't put you off any. There is a section in 3 where you get after the desert bit, like there's a town that you go through and some weird stuff happens, and that really put me off that game.
Listen, don't give me spoilers.
I'm not. There's no spoiler there. No, I don't think that's a spoiler, because
don't tell me anything. Let me walk in blind. Let me experience it myself. Now I'm thinking now I'm going to be thinking in the back of my mind, where's this desert? Where's this desert? Where's this desert? And I'm going to, the rest of the game is ruined now, because in my mind it's just a desert.
Have you not seen the trailers for Uncharted 3? That game's been out for years.
No, I didn't even touch it. I never touched an Uncharted game. I didn't even care about Naughty Dog. It wasn't until Last of Us that I was like,
the box art has desert on it.
I don't have that game.
Uncharted 3.
I have the collection.
You do, don't you? Yeah, sorry, I forgot.
I haven't seen nothing. I'm blind going into this. You guys just ruined the entire game. I'm not going to play.
I'm not
going to play 4 now. I'm done.
Bobby's out.
Toby, what are you playing?
Surprise, surprise! I'm playing Uncharted 4. No spoilers.
I feel like
all I'm going to say is that this game, to me, is a creative masterpiece in it. Not only its visual design, it's like every few minutes I'm stopping to admire the vistas and the scenery and the way the characters interact with each other and the lighting and just everything about this game just screams polish, and I've never experienced a game that's had it feels this big budget and this polished. Like,
I think what I'm more excited about now is what we're going to hear after the fact. Because now I'm curious to find out what was kept and what was scrapped from when these guys came in and took it over, and how much did they actually change the game from what it was in terms of like, did they rebuild from scratch? Because if they did, that's mind blowing to think that they turned that game around that quick from when they took over. Because it was only 2 years.
yeah, I mean, I don't think they would have started from scratch.
I don't think scratch, but I mean, like, did they scrap the whole? That's where I'm curious. I want to know how much, if they even talk about it. They may not even talk about it. I mean, they might just want to stay away from it. But I'm sure at some point, like the Kojima stuff, later on down in life, we'll hear about all this crazy stuff that took place, and I just want to hear about it. That's what gets me interested. Alan, what are you playing? Let me guess. Uncharted?
Well, I'm playing Uncharted 4 Shooting Hunter on iOS, and it's actually a really good mobile game. It takes up your time when you're bored on a night shift. But no, I'm on my second playthrough of Uncharted 4.
Your second playthrough? Wow.
I'm on my second playthrough. I'm doing it on the most difficult level, but I think I may make this the first game I platinum, because I don't do that, but I just want to just explore everything. As you get, I'm not going to spoil, but as you get further into this world and the story, you actually find yourself just wanting to find every little nook and cranny, and just it's so what they've done in this game visually is just beyond anything I've seen. You know, I thought Quantum Break looked good. This game just kicks that to the side, and you don't look at it. It's the ugly stepbrother in it.
I'm hearing that a lot. I'm definitely hearing that a lot. Like that shocks me, because we know what Naughty Dog can do, but that just as much rave and review that Quantum Break got, then to hear that this one is actually much better it's good. I mean, it's good to hear.
This game and what they might do with The Last of Us 2 makes me go, I could actually see myself buying a Neo just to see how they push what they've already done on this system.
You're a traitor. You're a traitor to all the gamers out there. You're turning your back on us.
It's funny to me because, you know, playing Uncharted 4, it's brought back the sort of feelings that I got when I first played Shenmue on the Dreamcast. Because when I played that game as a kid, I was like, this is mind-blowing how big this game is, how realistic it is, the way you could like pick objects up with your weird hand and just sort of look at them like that. Because you can do that in Uncharted, but it's like so much better, and it just sort of brings back these memories of being blown away by a video game, and I haven't felt that in a long time.
Myself, now I feel like I'm a bum because I'm playing games that we've been playing for a while. But I've been playing this morning. I was playing some Splatfest on the Wii U. I just love Splatfest. I mean, it feels like it's a different world when you play Splatfest, because what they do is they shut down the rank play, and then it becomes everybody plays Turf War. It becomes harder. Because you have all those guys that are... Because I feel like when you play rank play, it's two different worlds. Rank play, Turf Wars is two different worlds. When you merge that all together, it just becomes so amplified. Like, rank play is more like a Call of Duty, like where you're trying to kill people and things of that nature, because you're trying to secure area. So in order to keep that area secure, you have to take people out. Turf Wars is just paint the ground, and occasionally you'll kill people. This, you'll see people with 10, 12 kills during Splatfest because it turns. Everybody's trying to kill each other, plus paint the ground. It's like, holy crap. Like, you can literally die 5, 6 times in a game without even blinking an eye at it. So it definitely raises the skill level, which I like. I like to see what I can do against better players.
What's the vote? What is the Splatfest?
It's the dumbest thing in the world. We were talking about it prior to before you got here. It's gowns, like what type of no. It's
you said it was party.
What type of party?
It's like dress party and costume party. That was it.
It's fancy party or costume party. So
which did you pick?
I picked costume party because nice. I was just like, look, I would like to dress up like Batman. So if that's the case, I'm gonna pick that. I would not dress up like like George Washington and all that type of stuff. Like, because that's kind of the pictures they have. They have people that look like George Washington and stuff like that, and then like
not people that look like James Bond.
No, no.
That just sounds like two fancy parties.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And then I'm playing Earthbound on 3DS, which I beat that already on the Wii U, but I love that game. I love just everything about it. I love the pixel art. I love what it is, what it represents. So.
Did you see they took down Citizens of Earth from the 3DS eShop because of an exploit?
Yeah. Well, I read into some of that, but I couldn't really understand why. Essentially, what it was doing. I know that it was allowing homebrew, some type of homebrew thing to be exploited, but I really didn't get the gist of why. Apparently, once it gets fixed, they're going to put it back up.
Yeah.
But it kind of sucks because they just had it on the Humble Bundle.
Yeah, I know, and that means like millions of people have got that now. Well, not millions, but like lots of people have got it.
Yeah, that's when I got it.
Virtually nothing. Yeah.
I bought it because of that. All right, so our first topic. This is a little. I mean, we're all. I'm not. Kyle, how are you in terms of like the Toys of Life stuff? Like, did you collect anything, or do you get any of them at all?
I have 0 Toys to Life.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lie, Cole. You have Luigi, don't you?
No, I left when we got fired. I left him.
You left him behind.
Yep.
That's cold.
Yep.
No man left behind. Come on.
Why would you leave Luigi behind? That's brutal.
I don't know.
You're a monster, Kyle.
Yeah. I never felt like I owned Luigi because I was given him as because I lost a bet. You know what I mean? And so he was.
I tell you what, Kyle. I will send you one of my custom amiibo if you like.
No. Keep your own custom amiibo.
Listen, you should.
I just want to change your mind about him because I know that you're not really into them.
I own two of Toby's custom amiibo. If he is offering to give it to you, take it. These things are amazing. Like, no lie. Don't even get his approval. Just send it to him. Don't even listen to him. He doesn't know what
You wouldn't be able to afford it if you actually were to pay him. I mean, I've seen him set these things online, and it's like, how much you want for that? No. Moving on.
Just send it to him. Don't even ask that question. But so at the end of the day, Disney Infinity announced this week that they are done. That they're shutting it down. They got, I think, 4 more packages that'll come out because they promised them, but then there's nothing after. They're basically wrapping up what they're working on now, and then that's it. So my question is this basically an instance of just a poorly run business, or is this just all kind of falling apart and the Toys of Life kind of going away? What do you guys think?
Well, I don't think that it's poorly managed business because I'm pretty sure they were still making a lot of money from it. You know, I think just the Star Wars toys alone, they made $200 million on, and you know that's nothing to turn your nose up at, especially these days. But I think that what it probably more, I mean, I think it's more of they just don't want to be in the risky business of video games because they're into licensing a lot, so they probably see it's much easier to just license their properties out to other companies and get them to make the video games on their behalf, and they don't have any of that risk, and I can see them licensing it to Lego Dimensions because there's been the Marvel Lego games and Star Wars Lego games, and they could definitely just do that with their franchises.
Myself, I don't know. I feel like they messed up with this, and what I mean by that is, you can get a Darth Vader toy anywhere, and what shocked me with 3.0 of Disney Infinity was, I truly felt before they launched that, because there was a lot of words being thrown around, especially by the Disney Infinity camp, acting like, oh, well, Nintendo doesn't know what they're doing. And, and I thought, like, okay, now you're going to learn what Nintendo went through because everybody's going to want these Disney Infinity these characters of your, Star Wars. But it didn't go the way I expected it to. Like, it was like a dud. Like, people just, you go into Toys R Us right now and the shelves are stocked full of them. And I feel like they didn't get the Star Wars collectors coming in, because that's what I expected. I expected, like, they were going to get hit from both sides, like Nintendo did. You had the Smash fans come in and buy up all the amiibo, but you also had true I don't want to say true Nintendo fans because that kind of sounds kind of messed up, but like old school Nintendo fans who wanted characters that they couldn't get before buying them up as well. So you had a twofold situation. I thought the same thing was going to happen with 3.0, and it didn't. And I kind of feel like that's because part of the reason is because you had people that could go into a Toys R Us and go, oh, I could pay $12.99 for this Darth Vader, or I can go over here and pay $4.99 for a Darth Vader over here. I'll give the kids these ones because it's a cheaper model per se. Now I don't know if that's the whole reason behind it, but I just feel like, especially with the Marvel and I mean everywhere you go, it's kind of jammed down your throat right now. And I feel like where Nintendo kind of with the Amiibo had a little bit of advantage was you can't get a Marth figure if you walk into a Toys R Us unless you get an Amiibo, if you could find them. Same thing with Mario's a little different because Mario's kind of all over the place, but like Legend of Zelda and Metroid, like Samus isn't out prevalently. Like you don't have figures all over of Samus, so I felt like that was what kind of hurt Disney Infinity and that. But I also felt like they were rushing a lot of stuff in the early going. Like they did Disney Infinity 1.0, then they did 2.0, then they did 3.0, and it was almost like they were rushing to get to the Star Wars stuff. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I never in a million years thought that Disney would be the first one to bow out of all this.
I just think the game is crap as well. I bought Disney Infinity 3.0 and I pretty made a bad decision because I bought it on Wii U, which is probably the worst running game version. But it's just janky. It's load slow. Its frame rate is bad. I know it's a game that's aimed at children, but it's also like people like to play it with their children, and maybe there are a lot of adults that are just pure Disney fans that just love playing this game, and I just don't think it's a very polished game, and maybe that's not Disney's fault, but I don't blame them for getting rid of it.
Alan, you have some, right?
I've got a few. Some of the new Star Wars, the old Star Wars ones. I got Boba Fett the other day. Badass looking little toy.
Yeah, I like him.
I don't play the game. I just like the look of them, so I thought I'm going to have them. I think it makes perfect sense for Disney to cut and run. And it's been on the cards when you look at the way they dealt with the Star Wars license to EA. That one company now does Star Wars games. This is their plan. They're going to find the company they think's the best fit for a property they've got and give it to that company to make a game.
Yeah.
They get their cut. They don't have to invest hugely, They can just give them enough to get the game up and running. So they kind of mitigate all the kind of cost. With Toys to Life, you've got the game production, then you've got the toy production. If you make a series that doesn't sell, you lose out on game sales and you lose out on toy sales. Disney, I think, probably just looked at returns on Infinity 3.0 and kind of thought, we're not going to move ahead because there's now this rumor come out we're going to get Rogue One's figures that were like 12-inch. That would have been pretty sweet, but it's not going to happen. So they've obviously looked at where Infinity 3.0 has gone and just gone, it's not growing. It hasn't grown much from Infinity 2. And maybe they just went, that's it. This series dies and we'll move on. I mean, they've got all the Star Wars games. You've got Indiana Jones coming back. I think we're going to start seeing now a bigger push for Marvel games instead of it all just being on mobile platforms. We might see, home game, console games of Marvel properties as well.
Kyle, what's your take on all this?
Yeah, I mean, I like what Alan just said. Is just it's that double risk. It just costs so much to make those figures, and when one bombs, you just eat so much money.
Yeah.
And there's some Disney Infinity figures that nobody wants. There's a lot of them.
That's true.
And I love your point about how with Amiibo, some of them are the best possible figures you could get of that character.
Yeah.
And like that's appealing. That's an appealing thing. With Disney, there's just so many different Donald figures. You can get so many Mickeys out there. Baloo's cool. It's cool they made a Baloo. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And Disney's just a big corporation. They have a lot of things going on for them. And if one little thing isn't hugely successful, yeah, they can drop it in an instant. You know, they have enough going on for them where, yeah, they don't need this risk, I think, which is sad.
It is sad because I feel like you had a fan base that are rabid for that, and I mean, obviously, I collect Amiibo and I love Amiibo, but I always still bought the Disney Infinity characters because I thought, like, these are cool. They're doing some really cool. It's a stylized figure. It looks awesome, you know. And I felt like of all the toys of life, Disney Infinity had it above and beyond on all the rest of them. Like, they really knew what they were doing and they really handled it perfectly. It just, you know, I think we're going to start seeing. I think basically they looked at, like Alan said, going back to what Alan said, was they looked at like the EA license with Battlefront and how that's working, and they just go like, we're basically making money for doing nothing. We just sell the license and go. And I think they looked back at like with the Capcom days and stuff when they had that deal with Capcom, and they just looked at it and went, we made a lot of money doing this. We got to worry about movies and all this other stuff. Let's focus on that and let other people handle this. It's just a shame that it happened the way it happened. It would be awesome if they would just license out the whole idea of Disney Infinity. Like, that to me would be the way to go. Like, go to a Lego Dimension or Nintendo and just say, like, hey guys, take this and you handle it. Like, we'll give you licensing to do whatever you want to do with them and go have at it. I don't know that Nintendo would be interested in it just because they haven't really been interested in making a game per se just for their Toys to Life side. A Skylanders might be the option. Activision might do better with it. Or EA. EA might be willing to jump in and go, hey, we'll give this a shot. But that would be nice if they did do that, to continue that on, because, like I said, I did like some of the figures. But, again, some of them were just like, yeah, I don't want nothing to do with that figure. I'll pass on that one.
Do you think it's smart for Nintendo to not have one game that uses all of the Amiibo, like, you know, like an Amiibo party game or whatever?
Yeah.
No.
I think it's a mistake on their part. I think that you need. I understand what they're doing, and I understand they want to be Nintendo. They want to be different than everybody else. They want to do. I like what they do offer on some of the stuff. Like, I like being able to go to Mario Kart and like pop in and get different outfits, and then go over to Fire Emblem. And Fire Emblem is like one of the best for me. Fire Emblem and Splatoon, I feel, are two of the best handled ones. Where with Fire Emblem Fates, you scan in an Ike, and you have to beat him 3 times, and then when you beat him, he'll come join you. And he is badass. Same thing with Marth and Robin and Lucina. So I like that aspect of it. With the Splatoon, it gave you like little challenges and stuff, and those challenges kind of like you got gear from accomplishing those challenges, but it was challenges that kind of like taught you and helped you to get better at Splatoon. So I like those two, but I would have loved to have, like, the one thing that they took out of Smash was Subspace. It would have been nice to have, like, a game like that, per se, where you scan in and you get those characters, or an RPG, or something. Just something where you get to utilize these figures more than we were. Because I feel like they're lacking on that.
I feel like that could get bloated, though, because the amount of Amiibo that are available, not only in the Smash line, but in the Animal Crossing line now, and the Splatoon. If you had to have a game that utilized all of those figures, especially if they were unique characters based on the Amiibo, so, you know, if you had to have a character that controlled like Mario, and then you had to have one that controlled like Samus, and that did all their unique abilities and stuff, like, how would you balance a game like that and have a world that could hold all of those different characters?
And their abilities. Yeah, you're right. It might be an impossible game to make at this point.
Mm.
Well, and at this point, yes. But who's to say that they don't go, here's 10 characters that you can use, and this is for this specific game. Like, with Smash alone, there's, 50 characters. So that alone has ballooned it out of whack. But who's to say that they don't go, we're going to make a game specific, an RPG, whatever it might be, and you're going to have a line of Amiibo for that. If you have, and this would be the exemption, let's say they brought in Marth, Link, Mario, whatever. They could say, like, if you have those Smash characters, they will work on this, so you don't have to buy the new Amiibo if you don't want to. But we're also going to have a couple other characters that we may have not have put out yet. And that's hard to say because, with the 50 is a lot. But it would be kind of cool to have like a game that's specifically for that. Even if they had like a Nintendo Land where if you scanned it in, it opened up an attraction, like a game, a mini game or something that you could play, or a co-op game that you could play with your friends or family on those aspects. I mean, it's wide open. Obviously, you can't take all the characters and go, like you're saying, the balancing and stuff would be a mess. There's no way that they could handle it. But I think if they just scaled that back and either did a from-scratch game and just left the Smash ones and say, hey, they're for Smash, and you do what you do with it over there, but this game is going to be totally different, and here's 15, 20 characters that can work with it. I don't know.
If they made an Animal Crossing game for NX that utilized the Animal Crossing amiibo in a better way than Amiibo Party did, like how do you think they could use amiibo in an Animal Crossing game?
There's a lot of stuff you could do. One would be, because the biggest, most upsetting thing, it's horrible for me to say this, is when your favorite villager leaves. So that's a way that you could bring them in. The KK Slider amiibo, you could have like 4 or 5 exclusive songs that are just to him, that maybe, or maybe the remixes of versions of what he does, where you bring that in. Cool. You know, Isabelle, maybe she unlocks other town things that you could do. Like maybe when you have an Isabelle, you unlock 5 new items that you can build, public work projects. Tom Nook, maybe there's new aspects you can add to your house. Like, I felt like they could have done a lot more with the Animal Crossing amiibo, and that's why it didn't sell. Like,
it was lazy.
Yeah, it was very lazy. Like, just to say, like, this is an icon, and you plunk it down, and it becomes dice. Like, that's so stupid. That was horrible. They ruined that one. So, okay. Anybody else have anything for that one, or shall we move on?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm happy.
Okay. That's rare. You're never happy. Look at you.
I'm still miserable.
I'll plop in real quick, actually.
Go ahead.
Just because we talk about like toys to life, and to me, like that concept of like this toy is coming alive inside the video game, I think it's lost a lot. Yes. And so, like in Animal Crossing or in any future game, that's what I like the most. I actually like that concept about Skylanders, is that you have this one Skylander, it levels up, it learns new abilities, and when you take it into your new game, it still has that level and those abilities.
Yeah.
And like something like that with Amiibo, I'd be totally on board for. I would love that.
That's true. I forget that you can save data to the NFC chip. Like, you can level up your Smash characters and take them to your friends' game. So if they can utilize that in some new, unique way.
See, now I thought of it. Well, I think Alan, you and I talked about this.
What's going on here? Sorry.
All right.
My computer's freaking. Apologies.
Alan and I discussed this on another podcast, and the one thing we said was with Pokemon. Obviously, it'd be a hard challenge to like create a game around the Pokemon, just because there's so many. So how would you do something like that? But we had thought, like, if they did a card game where the Wii U gamepad is kind of like the base, and then, like, we'll use an example. Kyle, you come to my house, and you have all your Pokemon cards with you, and I have my Pokemon cards, and then the battle kind of plays out on the screen. Maybe like a Pokken Fighter or something like that, or, you know, Pokken Tournament or whatever, where you have the battlefield or whatever, and then, like, you scan down your Charizard, and I throw down my Pikachu, and then they both come to life on the screen, and they kind of battle in front of us. I felt like that would have been... I feel like that's something that I was shocked that they didn't do.
That could work too. Yeah, it's a cool idea.
That would be great. Yeah, if you could save your Pokemon data to the card and then take that to your friend's house like that.
And it becomes like a Pokemon stadium or of some aspect. You know what I mean?
That is the Pokemon trading card game next level.
Yeah, it takes it to another level where now you kind of have like you have to have like a judge or someone go like, okay, that one will be that or whatever. Like, you would essentially, the Wii U would become the judge and say like, this one's more powerful than this does this to this, and then go. You know, I think it could have worked.
Taking it to that next, I was thinking like the next Pokemon game not being Sun and Moon, but whatever comes after. Taking it back to the more statue-based, having like smaller amiibo that are all Pokemon that costs a lot cheaper to produce, a lot cheaper to buy, and you can buy you get them in the game, but say like you're having trouble catching one, or you don't want to buy the other game to do the swapping, or you don't have a friend with it, you could go and buy that Pokemon you want as a figure. You can then scan it and have it. But then you can also buy the figure of the one you've got and transfer the data for that. So you could go to your game, say like you're saying, play the game, level up the full game, and have your fighting tournament game on your home console or what hybrid or whatever we're doing, and you just scan it in. But then you could buy legendaries. You could buy special amiibo that they set out. We're going to sell for a year. You can buy this Pokemon amiibo, and you get like a special fighter, or have them for shows where you can go and buy it instead of like going to 3DS.
Wouldn't that take some of the excitement away from tracking down a legendary Pokemon in game if you could just go and buy one?
Shed loads of money. Shed loads of money. I don't think Nintendo really care about the illusion. They just want money.
Well, the other thing that I always felt that was kind of strange was like they're huge on their lore and their history and stuff, but like, why not just sell like amiibo that you scan in and you get a virtual console game? Like you buy a Legend of Zelda, you buy a Link that looks like the old school Link, and then when you scan it in, they give you that game. Like they give you the original Legend of Zelda, or whatever. Like you buy Pit and you scan them in and you get like. I felt like there was, and it's not like amiibo are gone by any stretch of the imagination, but I feel like there was so much opportunity for Nintendo to go a different direction that you want to do, but also do different things with this thing that would have been really cool. And I don't know what their new plans are. I know that Kimishima has basically said, like, we dropped the ball with this. This wasn't what we intended on doing. We let the collectors take them, or we intended these things to be used instead of like ALLAN with them all hanging on his wall right now. So there's more that they could have done, absolutely, but I feel like they definitely dropped the ball to some degree.
Nintendo as a company are great at coming up with really cool sounding ideas and then just not following through on it. Like WeConnect 24, Mii's, all these kind of cool little ideas that, WeConnect 24, I remember the sell was, developers could make content and then push it to your console later on. Like, imagine Metroid levels and all that.
Yeah.
Did it? You connected for 24 hours a day, and you got.
They did do stuff with Mario Kart, because Mario Kart you would get new challenges every day.
Yeah, true, but it's just always like never.
Well, it's always it's the one step, and it's not the follow through.
Yeah.
Okay, so Uncharted 4, you guys kind of all are playing it, and I'm the only idiot not playing it. Naughty Dog has pretty much said like this is essentially the end of Nathan Drake in the series per se. Should Naughty Dog hand the franchise off, or just let it end completely, and then like, what's the direction that we see them going next? Like, where do we want them to go next?
For me, I would not trust any other studio with an Uncharted game. I'm not sure if they made the one on Vita or not, but I never played that, so I can't say whether that felt like an Uncharted game if it wasn't. But from playing Uncharted 4, you can tell it's a Naughty Dog game, and you can see what they've learned from The Last of Us has seeped into this game, and in good ways, and I just feel like they are just the masters of that sort of cinematic action third-person shooter game like that, and I don't think that you would get the same experience from another company. I just think they're unrivaled in that genre of game. The Naughty Dog game has sort of become its own genre, and so I personally would, I loved The Last of Us, but I think that feels like a really good standalone thing, and I just want to see what else they could do.
Kyle, where do you stand on this?
Toby, I just looked it up. It was Sony Bend who did the Vita game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely not them. So yeah, there's that weird part of video games where, if you get a hit, you have to make a sequel. And just, that part sucks, but I feel like because maybe they're a first-party studio, Naughty Dog doesn't have to. I think Sony's like really cool with them, and yeah, in an ideal world, no more Uncharted sequels whatsoever, Nathan Drake or not. I'm way cool with that. I just don't know if Sony's cool with that.
Yeah.
And so maybe there will be a spin-off, maybe another studio will try a spin-off, and it just definitely won't be as good. And that's, I think, the risk. That's what I think Sony has to be aware of if they're ever going to greenlight anything like that. But yeah, Naughty Dog, just in a whole other tier. I truly believe that. And whatever they want to do next, as long as it's what they want to do, is what they should do. Whatever strikes their fancy.
Yeah.
I mean, they proved that they can take on a new IP with The Last of Us.
Absolutely.
It might not stray that far from the Uncharted style of gameplay, but it proves that they can tell a different, more serious story and create a new world. They can do that very easily, I think.
I've obviously through it. I'm doing my second, so I know what's coming for all you, and I'm kind of jealous. It's that kind of I wish I could go back play it again without having played it. Their ability to keep surprising you is insane. Like you get to the end and it's just like what? I do think there's studios that could do Uncharted games in the future if they chose to. Like Kyle pointed out, Bend did the Vita version, and it does play beat for beat like an Uncharted game. You could almost tell it wasn't. If you didn't know, you could say that it was Naughty Dog that did that game. Would we want to? I don't know. If there's a story to tell it. As for Naughty Dog, I'm not even excited about Last of Us 2. I think after playing Uncharted 4, they will nail Last of Us 2. I want to know what Naughty Dog do after the Last of Us sequel, because they're now a two-team studio. So, obviously that team might now be going to help with that. But what are they now planning? What's that team that just finished Uncharted 4? What's their next idea? What's the next thing? Is it going to be another series that kind of takes this storytelling technique that they've got and puts it to a new genre? As the kind of funny guys have will they go and do a Jack game? Probably not. They are the studio that can go to Sony and say, this is our idea, and with their track record, Sony are just going to greenlight it. I want to see what they do after Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
I want to play it, but
to me, they are the gold star standard of Sony. I would not own a PlayStation 4 if it wasn't for Naughty Dog, and that's hard to say. A lot of people will be like, "You're crazy." Listen, at the end of the day, when I played Last of Us the first time, I literally was like, "This is one of the greatest games I've ever played in my entire life." It emotionally hit me in spots that I hadn't felt since I played the Super Nintendo, and I was just like, no matter what they do, I'm following them from now on, and I'm going to buy every single game they put out, and I'm going to be 110% behind the studio. They just do things that nobody else does, and I hope they do a Last of Us sequel. Like Kyle said, it's a shame because when you have a hit, it would be nice to just end Last of Us and go away and be done, but if they are going to do a sequel, I'm 110% behind it. I would love it. But I am kind of interested to see what the future holds for these guys. Like, part of me is like, yes, be done with Uncharted, because I want to see what they do that's out there and what they can bring to the table. Like when we had Brian from Image and Form on way long time ago, me and Toby had interviewed him, and I was like, I love SteamWorld Dig. Where is Dig 2? And he was like, we didn't want to be known as that company that's all we do is Dig 2. We wanted to go off and do Heist. And when I played SteamWorld Heist for the first time, I even said it to them guys. Like, I kept screaming, I want Dig 2, I want Dig 2, I want Dig 2. But you did something in that you gave me something that I wanted, and I didn't even know I wanted it. So when it was all said and done, you knew what I wanted better than I did. And unfortunately, we're in this world right now where no new IPs work. They do, but it's difficult. Because everybody's like, they don't want to try the new stuff. They just want to play the old stuff over and over again. Like, Nintendo's the biggest one that catches the biggest flack for, like, oh, you do nothing new. That's all you do is Mario and Zelda. This and that. Listen, they did Codename Steam. Didn't work. Yeah. Like, nobody wanted it. Nobody bought it. Like,
I wanted it.
Well, yeah, but you're the quirky Brit. Of course,
the island that you're on.
Yeah. But Splatoon worked. It was a success. But when they first announced Splatoon, look, we're all part of I don't know. I don't think Kyle is, but we're all a part of the NVC Facebook group. There was a lot of hate when Nintendo talked about when they announced it at E3. They were like, "What is this garbage? This is a kiddie game where you're painting and stuff like that." And it's one of the most successful franchises they've had in a long time. Like the attach rate in Japan is like over 50%. That is insane.
That is crazy.
Like it is madness. So for me, I look at Naughty Dog and I go, I would love for you guys to just go out and do something different and just have at it and show us what you can do. Because I think ultimately they did that. Neil and Bruce did that when they left and they went and did Last of Us. They took what they learned on Uncharted 2. They went off and they did. And that's the funny thing. Like I had said like at the beginning of the show, like I never played an Uncharted game before the Uncharted collection. When I played Uncharted 2, I was like, holy crap, this is like Last of Us. Like, you just had that vibe and that feel. So that's why I'm excited for Uncharted 4, because I'm like, I want to see what they took from Last of Us and brought over here. And now I want to see what they take with Uncharted 4 and learn, and they do with other stuff. Like, these guys are special. And I feel like I grew up in the NES era. I played Super Mario Brothers when it first came out. I played Legend of Zelda, all that stuff. I got to see Miyamoto in his prime. I got to see Miyamoto when he was like Michael Jordan. And I feel like what people don't realize is right now, Bruce and Neil are the Michael Jordans. Everybody that's playing right now is getting to see Michael Jordan in his heyday all over again. And I feel like these guys are like the Miyamotos back in the day, where it's just hit after hit after hit. They can do no wrong, and they just crush it every time they come to the plate. And that's how it was back in the 80s and in the early 90s. Like, Miyamoto would put out a game, it didn't matter what it was, it's so like gangbusters, and it was amazing. It's the same thing here. Like, these guys are special, and they're doing amazing things. So for me personally, as much as I want to see Last of Us 2, I just want to see the next thing. I want to see the thing that nobody sees coming down the pike and see what they can do with it.
Naughty Dog presents Space Jam.
I'd play it. I'm down for it.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm all in. All right, so we're at the point. Let's jump into our game. Alan, are you able to stick around for this, or you got to go?
Yeah, he's not showed up yet, so he can...
Okay. All right, so right now we're going to kick into Get Your Facts Straight. The idea behind this is Toby and I read off facts, Alan cheats and reads off nonsense, and then we try to figure out if it's true or false. But truthfully, what it is we all have brought 2 facts to the table. We will read that off. The other 3, we'll try to guess whether it's true or false, and then we gain points. And it's all just for fun, I think. I don't know if we've...
Yeah, there's no forfeit.
There's nothing.
You know what? I did, when we used to do it, I wanted to have the forfeit. If you lost, you had to say that
we're not doing that. Just
the other person, like the winner, was the most knowledgeable gamer in the universe. Or something along those lines.
Those are good stakes.
You had to.
But
you never wanted to admit that I was the best, did you?
Because you never won.
I did win. I won several times.
But when you lost, you would throw temper tantrums.
Only because you always cheated and bent the rules.
Oh, here we go.
Controversy. That's why we
listen. You're putting Kyle in an awkward position. Okay, it's like when you have abusive parents and they're arguing and the kids are looking at it like, what's going on right now? Stop. All right. Alan, we'll go with you first. Read your first fact.
Excellent. My first fact. Okay. Okay, Mario Kart 8 was the first game of the Mario Kart franchise where Mario had a fully animated mustache.
I'm going to go true on that one.
Okay. Toby?
I want to give my answer, and I want to give reasoning by my answer, but I don't want to say it until you've said it.
You can give your answer afterwards. You're saying the first Mario or the first Mario Kart game?
Mario Kart. First Mario Kart game.
Man. Kyle said true, but Kyle said it pretty quick. And I think Kyle's very knowledgeable. So I'm going to say true as well.
Also ill through coffee.
Listen, just stop. Don't search yourself.
being-
See, this is the
being
problem.
confused.
You say an answer, and he starts to mess with your mind and make you second guess yourself.
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
going true.
I'm gonna say true as well, and the reason I can say true is because I remember Nintendo talking about the details in this game, and one of those details was the way the moustache would flutter in the wind, and I don't remember ever seeing them like talk about that before. Like I remember that being a talking point. I don't know if that was just people picking apart the trailers too much, but I seem to remember that, so I'm gonna say true.
It is true.
Yeah!
All right, so we all got a point.
Hash physics, ladies and gentlemen.
Um,
Hash physics.
Kyle, you're next. What's your first fact?
Here we go. My first fact. Every character in Bubsy 3D is performed by one voice actor, a woman named Lonnie Minella.
Oh man, I'm gonna say.
Well,
How many
I'm
characters are there in that game? Oh my god.
I'm gonna say true.
That was a pretty low budget game.
That sounds like it's one of those facts that's crazy enough to be true. So yeah, I'm going to throw my hat onto the true pile.
I'm gonna say false.
That fact is true.
Yes.
Oh no.
Yes.
Get up, you Thornton.
I should have gone with my instinct. I knew it was that low budget.
Toby, what's up?
All right.
Your...
I picked this fact because I know that fellow guest Carl Bosman loves Tetris. So this is a Tetris fact.
So you're basically so you're swaying it towards Kyle, so Kyle wins.
No, I'm not. No, I just knew Carl was coming on. I knew he would appreciate this fact.
Go ahead.
The level of brown-nosing is disgusting.
The original PC version of Tetris and many other games of the era came with a boss key button where you could press a key on the keyboard and it would throw up a fake spreadsheet on your monitor so that when your boss came by, when you were at work playing Tetris, you could pretend you was working by pressing this key.
I'm gonna say true.
This is true.
Alan.
Soviet Russia.
Yeah.
Produced. They have working PC? I don't know. I'm gonna go with the group because Kyle, again, he could be having a fever dream, but yeah, go true.
Kyle said that with such conviction. It is true. Yes.
Yes.
The only reason
Thank you,
I
Kyle.
said the reason why I said true was I remember back when that was all going on, there was people that actually made websites that you would go to the website and they would have like games and all this stupid stuff, and like you said, you click a button, so when your boss came up, it would bring up spreadsheets and stuff to cover you. So, but I wasn't sure if Tetris did, but I thought, you know what, that's a good possibility. It was
That blew my mind because that is so clever, and I think more games should have that.
We've lost the boss key button for sure.
Yeah.
Probably
This
also wouldn't
one's-
work with an
this
LED graphics card or something.
This one's for you, Alan. I mean, Toby. So Sega's mascot right now is Sonic. But before Sonic, it was Alex Kidd.
Mm-hmm.
But Alex Kidd was not the first mascot for Sega. True or false?
True.
See, this one I think is true. I just don't know who the first mascot would be.
Well, you don't
I'm gonna
have to, but you don't have to tell me who it is. If
Okay.
there is one, you just got to say true or false to Alex Kidd wasn't the first one.
You know what? I'm saying false. I can't think of it.
I'm
Alan.
trying to remember because I read that Console Wars book and they went through this whole mascot thing.
Today's a busy day for the trains. What's going on over there?
It's funny. It sounds more like a minecart than a train.
Yeah. You got Donkey Kong going past my window every 5 minutes.
If you ever do a minecart level in your RPG, Toby, and you can get audio, you should just loop it off.
Yeah,
just loop it off
Little
there.
factor. You become famous. I'm gonna go So the question was that Alex Kidd was not Sega's first mascot.
Yes, there was. What I'm saying, the fact that I'm saying Alex Kidd was not the first, that there was one before him.
I'm gonna go with Kyle on this one because I just can't think what it is.
It is true. They actually tried to push a little character from Fantasy Zone. He didn't actually have a name. Yeah,
Yep.
Some little weird spaceship with feet, and that was the first character.
Oh,
Man.
Get your... yeah, Toby's tied. With
I'm crawling my way
Toby's
back.
nearly winning.
So after round 1, I have 3. I'm in the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Allan's 2, Kyle's 2, Toby's 2. So okay. So if I win, do I get to say that I'm the true final Bosman? Like, can that be my moniker?
yeah, absolutely.
I'm just kidding.
I have no rights to praise the final Bosman anymore. You say what you want.
I mean, that fucking right's up for grabs. Excuse me, I have to go.
Okay, Allan, what's your first or your second fact?
My second fact relates to a classic game, one of my personal favourites. The voice acting was god awful. And that's Resident Evil on the PlayStation 1. Did you know that the original pitch for Resident Evil was a first-person shooter that they never went ahead with because it was deemed not fun when they tested it?
Alan, the way you phrased this with "did you know" at the beginning.
Did you know gaming?
I'm kind of setting this up as maybe they need a new voiceover, and they've not got a lot of Scottish people representing in this show. So
Alan, may I remind you about what happened last week when you twisted the facts by a millimeter? Like, if you are twisting facts, it better be by a big margin.
Child.
Because what? Okay, just so you know, Kyle, Allan is notorious for he'll go back in the day when they made Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation. It came in 3 discs, and we know that it did have that. But he'll say it came in 5 or 4, but it's like a small number. It's like off by 1, and then you go, you know that it did, but you don't know the exact number. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's fair game.
Yeah.
But I've taken on board your whining from last week and the migraine that ensued from Toby's high pitch, and I was like, no, I'm not going through that again. You're not worth it, Toby. So
okay.
I'm going to say false. Japan was not making a lot of first-person shooters at this time. It's hard for me to believe that.
Yeah, I'm the same feeling. I'm going to go false as well.
See, for me, I'm confused because I know that I think Resident Evil 4 had originally it went through a few different stages of design before they settled on what it turned into, and it was more. I can't remember if it was first person originally. I wonder if Alan's got that from Resident Evil 4 instead of Resident Evil 1. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say true.
So who said what? Because I got Toby's ramblings just made me forget half.
Me and Kyle said false. Toby said true.
Right. Toby's correct. It is true.
Oh,
yes!
Doom-like first-person shooter. However, this happened after they decided they were going with zombies, but it was deemed not fun, so they didn't go ahead.
I cannot believe that.
That's crazy.
That's nuts. This is what I go for listening to Kyle. I'm never going to do it again. I'm going the other way. Whatever Kyle says. Kyle, what is your next fact?
Here we go. In 1993, the NES version of Battletoads and Double Dragon was nominated for 5 Nintendo Power Awards.
Oh my God.
Dear Lord, you take this seriously.
You know, this
Brits.
is
we never had them.
Yeah, we never had that magazine, so
it doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. Stop it.
You've got an advantage.
You know what it? Yeah, like 20, 30 years ago. Like I got a real advantage.
Yeah, you're old, Bobby. You know.
I'll let you two answer first because I don't want to sway your votes.
Oh my God.
Because I know how you like to cling on to what I say. So.
People like Battletoads. Was it Battletoads? In Double Dragon?
Battletoads Double Dragon.
Double Dragon, yeah.
Which essentially was like one of the first crossover games like that.
That's quite a rare game now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm one of Kyle's taking on my tactic, and he's becoming me. So the question was, Battletoads and Double Dragon were both nominated for 5 Nintendo Power Awards.
Oh no, I'm sorry. It's a game called Battletoads and Double Dragon. It's one game where both universes were combined.
Yes.
Oh, good God. I'm trying to imagine that. That's like.
Do you have the information at hand of what those awards were?
No. Stop. It's a true or false. This isn't psychoanalyze. No.
I'm going to throw out that it's false. I'm sorry. I don't believe that in my time as a sad internet nerds, we're not sad. We are the people. That I would not have heard of this mega crossover in the times of Batman v Superman and all these lists of Cap versus Iron Man.
See, I'm probably with you on this one, Alan, because it's a game that I've heard of, but I think it would be more popular if it was given so many awards by such a prestigious magazine. You know, as you always like to tell me, it's the best magazine.
It was the best magazine ever.
So I'm going to say false as well.
I am going to say true. And the only reason I'm saying true is because I remember when that game came out, and it was a lot of hype behind it. So, and I know Nintendo was big on the Battletoads. Like, they were trying to push the Battletoads because, A, it was rare.
That's right. It's a propaganda machine, that magazine, isn't it?
And it was... Yeah, it basically, and the other reason was that was their way of combating like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which they were having a hard time getting to come to their console. So I'm gonna say true.
That fact is true.
I knew.
Yes.
I hate you both.
And I could bring up the awards. They were actually on the Wikipedia page.
What is it?
I mean, some of it was like best villain. You know, they got nominated for. You know, just like ridiculous awards.
But that was Nintendo Power. That was what they would do. They had like best villain, best hero, best background music, best whatever. Like they had all kinds of stupid stuff. But it was cool.
Best use of wall chicken.
Okay, so here's the nominations. It was graphics and sound, theme and fun, play control, villain, and best overall game. It was nominated for.
There you go.
Damn.
Battletoads versus Double Dragon.
You know what hurt you guys?
How has this never been on any of these lists?
You guys got wrapped up in because the game essentially sucked. They acted like it was great. It was horrible. But you guys got wrapped up in the idea of like that game doesn't even exist. Not whether this would be true or false. In like
I knew the game existed, but I didn't.
Battletoads existed.
I didn't think of it as being the propaganda machine that magazine was, and that they wanted to sell it.
Okay, so Toby, what's the next fact?
All right, so we're all familiar with the Konami code, the famous video game cheat code that is in pretty much all Konami games. It was first introduced on the NES. So there's a car alarm. Can you hear that?
Is that your house?
Yeah.
I think that's my parents' house.
I didn't even know you guys had cars.
Yeah, we have cars.
Just kidding.
We don't have carts, horses and carts. All right, so the Konami code, it was first introduced in the Gradius port on the NES.
Oh,
now,
wow.
the fact is that the reason they put it in was because they thought that the Western audience would find the game too difficult. So they put the code in to give you all power-ups.
Oh, man.
And you're saying Gradius was the first time they did this?
Yeah, that is a true fact. Gradius was the first. That's not what you're guessing on.
We're guessing whether...
You're guessing on the reason.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I don't know, Toby. I'm going to say false. I think you're being tricky.
Tricksy Hobbit.
That smile on his face is starting to worry me now. He got that grit. As soon as Kyle said that, he started to smile. That's a tell.
That's not a tell.
Yeah, it's a tell.
He's just a grinning moron.
I'm always grinning. Alan's right. I'm always grinning.
So the question I have to picture of us is that the reason that they put the Konami code in is because Americans and us Westerners
Yeah.
that speak proper English were too weak-minded and skilled to play it without all power-ups.
Yes.
Bobby said true.
Mm-hmm.
Sick Kyle in his necktie and blazer in bed said false. And I don't really like you, Toby, so... Sorry, just get that one out there as well. I'm going to go with... Bobby on this one, that it's true.
It is false.
Oh, good God.
The reason they put the code in was the guy who was working on the port for the game, he was so bad at the game, when he was debugging, he had to put this code in to make his way through the game to test it.
What a piece of garbage.
He forgot to take it out and he left it in, but
so he should be fired.
Yeah, it turned out to be a hit.
Because he's making a game that he's horrible at. That's ridiculous.
That's a good fact.
It is a good fact. I like
the reason I said that they, the Western audience couldn't handle it is because of the whole Mario 2 thing.
It's funny. I just watched the gaming historian this morning about Super Mario Bros. 2, and he goes into the whole thing how they did the Lost World or the Lost Levels, and they sent it to NOA, and Howard Phillips played it, and he wasn't the president at the time. And he went back to the president and was like, "This is too hard. Don't send it over." And they went back to Japan and was like, "Make us a new one." And that's when they came up with the whole. Oh my God! So that's what stuck in my head when you said that. I was like,
I knew that was funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very tricky.
Son of a gun. Okay, so last fact I have here, Alan, you were basically eliminated. You cannot win no matter what.
Ouch.
I like that. That's good. Kyle is at 3. Toby's at 3. I am at 4. So the only way we go to a tiebreaker is if Kyle or Toby get this correct. Otherwise, if you get it wrong, I win.
And I'm giving the tiebreaker.
Whatever. It's fine. So in Super Metroid, when Samus dies, she is shown with her clothes on. But when they originally made the game, she was naked. True or false?
False.
False.
Alan? Or do you not even want to give an answer?
Pretty much just said I'm eliminated.
Well, but still, it'd be nice to at least she could be.
I'll go false. The blind leading the Scottish.
That is true.
Oh, come on.
Way.
They originally did it in Japan, and then they said we need to tone it down for the Western audiences, so they put her in like a bikini.
I thought that was just for the ending. If you finish the game quickly.
No, if you play Super Metroid, when she dies, she kind of explodes, and when the suit explodes off of her, and she kind of like, and then it goes from the suit, the clothes, to a bikini, and in the Japanese version, they actually changed the Japanese version to match,
Mm-hmm.
but in the original Japanese version, she went naked. And then they said, no, we got to put clothes on her. So they put clothes on her, put a bikini. So I won. I like this. This is 2 weeks in a row, Toby.
Congratulations, Bobby.
Thank you. So that is all. Thank you guys for watching this. If you watched it on YouTube, if you listened to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher, we appreciate that. Mr. Bosman, we wholeheartedly appreciate you coming and being part of this. Please take a moment, tell everybody where they can find your content and all that good stuff. Like, plug yourself now.
Sure. I'm at Kyle Bosman on Twitter, and sorry about my neighbors, just very loud right now. Patreon.com/EasyAllies is where our videos are at and where you can see what we're up to.
Are you going to do more Bosman at Home stuff?
Yeah, absolutely, but that's like irregular. I do that on a very irregular schedule, so I don't even try to promote it.
I'd like you to do more, sir. I like it.
Sure, I'll try.
No, I really do. I like that series. It's good. And
Yeah,
I'm at this point, I only got 2 episodes, and I'm like, this is...
There's a third one up.
Is there a third one?
Yeah.
Just the other day.
Oh, that just went up the other day. That's the one that you re-edited, right? Because you didn't like it or something?
Yeah. And it's still mean. It's still a pretty mean episode.
That's okay. It's okay. You can follow Alan at Allan_Paxton. That is on Twitter. That is also on Instagram. Toby is on. This is the really ridiculous part. Why do you have to have 2 different names? Make me struggle every week. So on Instagram, he's at Amiibo_Workshop. On Twitter, he's at Toby's_take. You can follow me, Instagram, Twitter, at Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Peace out.
Bye.
What just happened?